Welcome back to the Toppling TBR. I'm Stacey.
I'm Hannah, and today we are diving into the second book in the Throne of Glass series, Crown of Midnight. So major spoilers, if you haven't read, bye, come back later, because we're getting into it. Okay.
Yes, we are.
So the book starts off, obviously, with Celaena is now the King's Champion, right? So we learn right away that she has not been killing her targets.
Yes.
Which is... I enjoy that part of it. It's kind of like she's setting her moral boundaries, you know, like she's not going to kill people who don't deserve to die. And it was also like a little act of rebellion, you know, little things.
Yeah. It's funny because I kind of... Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, even though it risks her own safety, like, she's putting her own life on the line to save theirs.
Yeah, but the thing that I thought was funny was I wondered if she was just doing it as sticking her fingers up and saying, I don't think it was necessarily they didn't deserve to die, but just kind of like, you're not going to make me do this.
I think it was a mix of the rebellion also with if you look back at, she's the revenge killer or, actually it'll dive into more of her past, but like, I don't know. I feel like it was also like a moral line that she drew.
Yeah.
So that's what the book dives into. And then shortly after that, we meet one of my favorite characters. We meet Mort, the sassiest, most unhelpfully helpful door knocker.
I loved him. I wrote in my notes, Mort, what a cheeky fuck.
He really is so cheeky. I love him so much. There's actually a line in there that I cackled this time reading. It was whenever she was she put the amulet in the keyhole or whatever in the wall, and it didn't do it. And I wrote, Mort said, you could rip out your own eye and see if it fits. And
I thought it was brilliant because he was just like, you're not asking the right questions. He knew what she wanted, but he still played. I enjoyed him a lot.
So one question I have is, do you think he withholds certain information from Selena for like certain truths from her for a reason? Or do you think he just, has been down there for centuries and is bored and...
You know what? A little bit of both. I think that he needs her to learn things under her own steam, because then it makes sense when he gives the information over. And when she's not asking the right questions, it's like she's not ready for the answer she's going to give. So it's not going to make sense.
Right.
I kind of felt like he was kind of being a bit sassy about it, but I think that there's a reason he was doing it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I feel like she needs to learn things in her own time. And that's, typically when you're ready for things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So shortly after that, there was a chapter. And whenever I first read it, I wasn't sure. It was between a queen and a princess. And I was like, oh, is this a flashback? Is this what? And I went back and I reread it because I made a note for it. And I don't know if you remember chapter 25. It was a conversation between the queen and the princess. It was super short, actually. Hold on. Let me find it. Basically, the queen is like, do what needs to be done. And the princess is like, she won't understand. When she goes over the edge, there'll be nothing to pull her back. And in rereading that, I believe it is Elena and Nehemia, and that is Nehemia doing what needs to be done, aka sacrificing herself.
Yeah, you know what? I actually wrote notes about this because I know the Archer said that, and I wondered if it was true. And that was one of the questions that I had was, do we believe that she really did sacrifice herself, or was Archer saying that? But now that you've just said that, you've answered my question. Yeah.
Right. That was a question that I had written too. I was like, did Nehemia know? And then I also had made a note about chapter 25. I went back and read it. It's only a half page. And in reading that, I'm like, oh, she did know. And she's talking about Selena is going to like lose herself after this happens.
Yeah. Well, now that you've just said that, because that was something that I wrote down, and I'm like, it's so funny that you bring that up because we didn't talk beforehand. That is crazy. That is so crazy. But one of the points I made too was the last interaction between the two of them. She calls her a coward. And I'm like, how does... and I'm like, but she did that on purpose, knowing what was going to happen too. And now that's sitting differently with me because I wrote the question to ask you, do you think with her saying that her dying was pivotal and how Selena felt about it? But now I'm realizing that she's done it to make, I see what she's done now. You've said that. Wow.
Well, I missed that. So she was trying to get Selena to So, later after Nehemia died and right towards the end of the book, Celaena goes and visits her grave, and she makes, it's a blood promise or an oath to free the people of the away and to see her Nehemia's father's crown restored and all of that. That is what Nehemia was trying to get Celaena to promise to do. And whenever she said no, that's why she called her a coward.
Do you think that that Selena wouldn't have changed her mind without Nehemia dying? Because that was something else. I was like, I think Selena would have got that on her own. I think this was really extreme.
It was extreme. It was like, the linchpin. She was trying to get it to move forward quicker. But also, I feel like Elena is a little instigator, I feel like Elena is like, oh, well, you can die. It's going to make it happen for sure. Instead of being like, oh, I'm patient. Let's let her get there in her own time.
Yeah, it does make you wonder if, can Elena see the future? Like, did this have to happen then for things to go the way they needed to go? Like, that's really hard.
They are on a time crunch. Like, the king is searching for these word keys as well. Yeah. And so they need her to beat him to them. So
yeah, you're right. You're right.
I kind of get it. It sucks that they had to sacrifice her because I loved their friendship. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I did too. And I'm kind of sad that I'm hoping that we're going to see her again in a different fashion in later books, but I'm not holding out a lot of hope for that. Mm-hmm. And the other question I had was, did she know who Selena really was then? So did Nehemia know?
No, I think she did because she made so many comments. There was one thing I wrote down that Nehemia told Selena, she's like, you're God blessed. Like, we need you. And she made all these little comments and without outwardly saying it. And I feel like Nehemia knows a lot. And I don't know if it's because, so in the first book, she opened a portal to the other world. So I don't know if she's or not opened a portal, but she was able to communicate with the word marks with the people in between. So I don't know if she's able to communicate more or if she's just been spending a lot of time with Elena because we learned she's been down in the tunnels.
Yeah.
And so I think Elena had been talking, but she also knew Dorian had magic. So I don't know. Yeah. Nehemia knew a lot.
Yeah, she did. She really did. And I literally wrote, Dorian had magic. What the fuck? I wrote that. And I wrote it in big letters on my notes. And that his father has it.
Yeah. So I want to dive into that in a minute. Hold on. Let's finish on the Nehemia train. Okay. No. Because that deserves like its whole own tangent to branch off of. But on Nehemia, one other thing that I noticed is, so whenever Selena went into her room after she died and she found the books and it said, it's only with the eye that one can see rightly. And she saw the word marks and she was able to translate do not trust. And then she couldn't translate the last symbol and she thought it was a wyvern. But then she saw the tattoo on Archer's arm and it was the same symbol. So she was saying do not trust Archer. Yes. So I had made a note in my books all the way back in chapter 16 that Nehemia told Selena, don't trust Archer.
Yeah.
So she already told her, and Selena's building it up in her head like she lied to me. But I think that's because we, as the readers, and Selena took it as don't trust it, like your alliance and your thing that you're forming with Archer to, get rebel information and all of that. But she flat out told her, don't trust Archer.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting because I feel like that's Selena's stubbornness gets in the way of her understanding of so many things. And this is not the only example of that, but this is one.
Yeah. Well, I made notes about her too. She really is a conundrum for me because you see at the beginning of the book where she's shopping and she's spending all that money that she could be saving for her freedom. And she's being so vain with all this crap. Like, is it an addiction or is she just...
She's very materialistic. And you'll learn that about her in later books. She likes fancy things. She likes to feel pretty. Like, that's just part of who she is.
I know, but she could be saving all that money for a much better life when she's out of the king's reach. Like, I know she's just young too, and then she gives... Yeah. I don't know.
She's pretty rash about in her decision making.
Yeah, I don't know. This book, I kind of like went back and forth on her. I loved her, and she frustrated me, and then I loved her a little more, and then she did something really classy, and then I'm like, why are you doing that? I don't know. She just... I don't know, she really frustrated me, this book.
I think she's probably struggling a lot with herself. And, she's holding a lot of trauma and she's holding a lot of secrets. And we don't know I don't know if she's hiding herself for, fear of rejection or like not wanting to step up to the plate for what she's actually, who she actually is, or I don't know. I don't know why she's hiding herself in this book. But I mean, I think she has a lot of character growth throughout, but it's kind of pushed on her. It's not her own choice.
It was, I don't know. Like, I got really annoyed with her at one point that I slammed the bookmark in my book and I had to walk away and get a cup of tea because it just, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, oh. And then she'll do something really sweet, like when she gave Caltaine the cloak. Like, she's the, like, and I'm like,
I'm like, that's what in the first episode I was talking about the real Celaena versus the mask she wears, and I think she struggles she struggles with those two sides of her, you know, like it's hard for her to know what the real truth is, but the good side, her real side, leaks out a lot, even though she's wearing a mask.
I felt it, that what you'd said last episode more in this one about her. Like, I could really, I don't know, she was kind of vain. She frustrated me a little bit.
For sure. Okay, so next kind of big event that happens is Kale gets taken and she goes to rescue him. And I feel like that is probably, I remember the first time I read the books, I was like, oh my God, she's such a badass. That's like one of the first times that you really get to see her just let loose and, you know, be stealthy and violent and all the things. So what did you think about that scene?
You know, it was funny because, like, you could feel that she emanated this raw power of when but she didn't really think. I don't think she didn't assess the situation. She reacted on emotion. That's how it felt.
Well, that's absolutely who she is.
Yeah, so I'm like, had she really thought that through, would she have done it? And that was another thing that really frustrated me because I don't know the answers to that, and that's really annoying. But like, she's kind of a hothead. She's a hothead.
Yeah,
and
she is.
But I really loved how it was written. Like, I think J. Maas did a really good job of showing just how talented she is as a writer.
I was really able to like visualize her going through and like
I was glued. Like, that was probably one of my favorite parts, other than the witch part, like with the witch with the caravan.
Well, if you like the action, just wait for the rest of the series, because that scene was very mild compared to, like, that is your first introduction into like her stealth and her badassery, I guess, if you want to put it, like all of that. But she comes a long way, and I feel like SJM gets even better at writing about it too. So, but I remember reading it the first time through, and I was like, she's such a badass. Like, you know, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, me too. You really got to see the skills and just how well trained she is, because I feel like it was after like the last book, when we were watching her in the events for challenging to become the king's assassin, that we kind of didn't get to see the real her. And
that was all very structured, you know, like it was be as good and awesome as you can be without being the best, and also in this confined area. And how I say, you know, this was her going on her own mission. And
it was different. It was different, and I think that was good. Finding out who she was at the end of the book was shocking, but not that shocking. It was it was really well done. It was really well done.
And then that led directly into, and as I wrote this down, I was like, that's fun to say, Kale's betrayal.
Yep, that's the next part I wrote about today.
So how do you feel about that? I know you're a Kale girly.
You know what? I feel like he made the right decision. I do. Because she's a real hothead, and you don't know how she's going to react to any given piece of information. And he knew how much she loved Nehemia, and I think she would have crossed lines that she couldn't have come back from had she known the truth. I really believe that, because I wrote that, and I'm like, I think he was justified he weighed the pros and cons, and I think he understood who she was as a person and knew that no good could have come of it. I really believe that.
So actually, one of the questions I wrote down is, do you think Kale truly understands Celaena, or do you think that he's in love with the idea of her? And I feel like he really, even though he didn't know her true identity, I feel like he absolutely understands her.
Yeah, he does, because he's been watching her. He's very pragmatic in his approach to life. So he's watching the subtle things that other people miss.
Absolutely. Like, even in the beginning of the book, whenever she comes in with, you know, the fake king's head that she killed or whatever, Dorian is almost like disgusted, and he's like, who is her? Or who is she? I don't even know her. This and that. Was she using me? And Kale's like, oh, she's wearing her assassin's mask. Like, he's just able to read her on a different level. And 100%. I enjoyed reading their romance so much more this time through than I did my first time even. Like, when she took him out to his birthday dinner, I cried. Like, I really did. Ugh. It's
It was
so
so
sweet.
sweet.
And not only
Because
does
she,
he really understand her, she really understands him too.
yes,
And
I
I
was
don't
just
think
about
he
to
has
say that.
anybody that does. So it
No.
was like, yes, Dorian's his best friend, but Dorian is still very about Dorian, you know?
Yeah.
So it was
He's the
so,
main event and he's a side character as far as
yeah.
Dorian's concerned. But yeah, I felt the same way. Like she really knew who he was and what he would like. She was like, but he got
Right.
you a horse. And he was like, but he didn't know my favorite stew. And you can see that that
Right.
really touched him. It was
And
yeah.
like even Kale showing up with chocolate cake for her and like,
No,
you know, all these cute little things.
I
They
know.
were cute.
I'm a sucker for like I'm a hopeless romantic, so that really sung to
Mhm.
my little soul.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, obviously the trust was broken between Kale and Celaena. So if you were Celaena, I know you love Kale, but if you were Celaena, would you forgive Kale for not telling you about the
No,
threat to Nehemia's life? You wouldn't.
fuck no, 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 not even a little bit, because
I think,
as far as she was concerned, he knew how she felt about her and knew that she could have saved her, and I wouldn't forgive that. And I'm not
no, it
I'm not a
was
revengeful little warrior, so I couldn't imagine her
yeah,
getting over that. I can't, because she could have saved her, and it didn't matter what lines
yeah.
you have to cross to save somebody you love. You do it.
And not only that, but Nehemia was like her only female friend she's ever really had. And Nehemia knew, I mean, yes, she didn't know she knew her true identity, but she knew her and her secrets and all of these things that Selena doesn't freely share with anybody else. So
Exactly.
that's kind of something she said in a later chapter that Nehemia was a soul friend, and I'm like, oh, a big
That would
loss.
be
So yeah,
that would
I would,
yeah. No,
I don't think I could forgive
I
him
wouldn't
either.
forgive him. I'd understand why he did it, but I wouldn't
Hmm.
forgive the fact that I might have been able to save her, and that would have just been that would have, I wouldn't be able to
It
just
would
move
just eat
past that.
away at me. Yeah. Well, there
Yeah,
was
it
also
would.
a chapter in there that the king and Kale were like hunting or something, and the king was telling Kale about the threat to her life, talking about going to talk to her, and Kale was like, you know, I don't even know if this is true or if the king is
Yep,
testing me because I've
yep.
gotten close to it. So I think yes, he knows Selena and he knows that she would have done something, and so yes, he was kind of covering his own ass in that regard. But B, like I if he were to tell her, the king would absolutely know. So I think he was also kind of covering his
Yeah,
ass too. So
yeah. You're not wrong. You are completely not wrong. And the king, you can see that the king's got multiple pieces on the chessboard, and you don't know which piece is
mhm.
going to move next. So no, you're right.
Yeah.
Selena is not going to. That's not a good enough excuse as far as she's concerned, and it
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be for me either. Because in the heat of
Same.
that moment, I'm already angry. I've got a loss now. There's no way. I'm guessing that he's
Yeah.
not endgame either, because I don't see how he can be now.
You
I don't.
can't rebuild the trust after
You
that.
can't.
Like
I'm sorry, you can't.
even if you come to a place of acceptance and understanding of where he came from, like you can't replace
No,
that trust. Like
no,
especially
you can't.
whenever Selena is telling you, the captain of the guard, aka like the right hand man of the king, that she's not even killing his targets and
Mhm.
that she may leave and like all of these things, like you're not going to be all the way open and honest with her. So I agree.
No,
Do you go ahead?
no, you can.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you think though? How do you think about her trying to kill Kale in retaliation to that betrayal?
Understand. This is what I was saying about her being a hothead. Like she didn't have
Hmm.
all the information, so her reacting like that was kind of frightening, because you can see that
Yeah.
she doesn't seem to have a limit on herself. She has no
And
real
you,
control over her raw emotion, and that's
yeah.
really dangerous.
And
That's
you
really
love this man, and he's your home, you said, and you're
yeah,
about to stab him through the heart
yeah.
without talking to him about anything first.
Exactly. Exactly. So really, Kale really want to get back in bed with that either? Like a
Yeah.
slight argument could have him knifed. Like, I don't know. I think she was. I get that she was distraught, but that was a step too far, and I'm really glad that Dorian stepped in. But
Yeah, so that's where we find out. Like,
yeah,
obviously, we're in Dorian's, perspective a little bit, so we know he has magic. But that's when it like comes to light, where
yeah,
Selena finds out that Dorian has magic.
crazy.
That is,
I literally was like mind blown. I was like,
yeah.
whoa, 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 what the fuck? I thought the magic was
So,
gone, and then like now we find out
So
that's
when
just
did
like,
you
oh,
pick up on the fact that he had magic? Was it whenever he punched the wall and shattered the window, or was it the little, like, he woke up cold and there was frost on his bed? Did that stand out to you? Did you notice that that was something different and out of the norm?
yeah, but I didn't think it
You didn't.
was magic. I thought maybe there was something going on in the castle. I didn't think it was him. I
Mhm.
thought something
Yeah, it's
was
such a
like,
good surprise.
yeah, I
I
was
will
like,
tell you, this isn't a huge spoiler at all, but it is a little bit jumping ahead. Dorian and his magic is my freaking favorite. He is
really?
absolutely incredible. Yeah, like I cannot wait for you to get to read about him as he grows.
It's funny because, like, you asked me about whether I was Team Kale or Team Dorian in the first episode, and I haven't changed my mind, but Dorian did raise a lot in my esteem in this book.
Well, I think, in my opinion, I think one of the reasons that he got so much better in this book is because in the first book, he was very romance and Playboy driven. And we get to
Yeah.
see the shift from his romantic side to his friendship side.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I love his and Selena's friendship. Like, they're so cute. I mean, I love Dorian in general, but I love seeing them as friends. It was so refreshing.
You know what? I enjoyed that too, but I also made a note, and I'm like, the part where he thought to himself that he's going to let her go because she's never looked at him the way she looks at Kale, and he looks at
Yeah.
her. But I kind of felt like he was a little disingenuous because I kind of wondered if he was waiting for that to fizzle out before he slipped himself back in there. I kind of felt like he was letting her go, but was prepared to step in if he thought he could. I don't know what
Well,
gave
he's
me
in
that
love with her.
impression. Yeah,
He's in
but
love with her. So I think that until if he's able to drop that, obviously, you're gonna hold out a little bit of hope, even if it's laying dormant and you don't know that it's there,
yeah.
Because it's really hard to fall in love with someone and then have them leave because you're a prince. Like, I don't know.
True, but he must understand that there's nothing that can ever happen between them because it just doesn't work that way. He has to understand that. Like,
Yeah, but tell someone that they can't have something, and that probably makes them want it more. Like,
yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. There was parts of me that kind of felt like he wanted to, but hadn't really, just because he thought
mhm.
I don't. He still was being like that charming man
Yeah.
that we've come to know
It's
and
just
we
who
kind
he
of love
is.
now.
It's just who he is, though. Like, he doesn't ever waver in who he is.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know because like I said,
Flirty.
I
Yeah.
like him more now than I did in the first book. And I didn't hate him in the first book. I don't know, I didn't get
Like
to
him
know him
more.
enough. Like
Mhm.
now I'm kind of like, okay, I can see why people are on his side. Like when you pick the teams, I can see why. I'm excited to see how his story continues.
Me too. I'm excited to read it again. Okay, so in him reading about all the genealogy and stuff, we learn that magic has been dormant in the Haviliard line for generations. So
Yeah.
why do you think it's popping up now? Like, why him? Do you have
Um,
any guesses?
you know what? I wondered if it's the lineage of the family. Like, how long have they been on the throne for his family? I'm wondering if like generations of them have made the magic, like suppressed the magic, but kept it in their own
Mm.
bloodline. That was kind of, I didn't really think a lot about it, but that was kind
Yeah.
of where I was going. That's kind of where my mind was going. That I think that there's more magic out there, but
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah, he can't be the only one, right?
no, like I think the monarchy has kept the whole, like their lineage has kept magic suppressed because I know
Mhm.
that Selena, when she was talking about what it felt like to not have to hide the Fae because there's no magic to draw on, so she didn't just erupt all of a sudden into her Fae. So it's
Yeah.
like obviously something is suppressing the magic. There's got to be other people out there too, but I wondered if that was being deliberately done by like the king's lineage because then they
Mm.
can access the magic. But I also didn't know if they were doing that to bump their own magic, like to draw from it.
Okay.
I don't know. I
All
had
good,
I had
all good
questions.
theories. We'll find out.
I couldn't
Also,
figure it out.
one thing that is absolutely incredible is that Dorian has raw magic. So
Mm-hmm.
and it said in there that raw magic is the rarest and deadliest kind that you can shape it into any form. It's
Yeah,
undiluted power. So that is really awesome and
it
exciting.
is.
And it's going to be very fun throughout the series. I told you
It
Dorian's
must.
awesome. The raw magic is why.
But could you imagine how Dorian must be feeling like to find this out about himself? Like a whole part of him that was kind of
Yeah. It's a
suppressed.
it's a death sentence. So it's got to be terrifying, but also how exciting. Like,
well, but not even just that, but what if you accidentally hurt somebody? That would be where my mind would go. Like, this all of a sudden just happens to you. What if you get angry and you hurt somebody? Like, what if you, I don't know. Like,
because
I was thinking,
it does leak out.
yeah, I'm like, if I was Dorian, I'd be like, oh my freaking god.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he kind of,
he's trying to figure it out, but he doesn't have anybody he can talk to about it. So
who the hell do you talk to? Who?
Yeah. And I mean, he showed up outside Celaena's rooms after he had punched a wall, and like part of me was like, oh, is he going to talk to her about it? And it's so weird because she said he seemed off, but that he had something in his eye. Like she said he looked like he had magic in his eye. And I'm like, how do you see that? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. What does that look like? But then if she's Fae, maybe she can.
She had it as a young girl. So, interesting.
Yeah. There is so much in this book. Like, she stuck a lot of info in, like 400 pages, man. That's a lot.
She's good at that. And then there's even more info in all the other, like the first two books are fairly slow. So there's even more in all the rest. I feel like once we hit Queen of Shadows, we are going to have to split this up into more than one episode. Or just have a really long episode. I don't know. We can film one really long episode and then cut it and post it as two.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm, like, I only just about managed to finish this one on top of all my other reading. So we may have to split it. We might have to. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, because if I'm drawn in, that's just kind of it. I'm going to finish it.
Okay. So, we don't need to touch on this for very much, but another key point that happened was that she murdered Graves.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that Graves was the assassin, or that he made a reappearance at all?
Not really. I kind of figured that he would at some point. It kind of made sense to me.
Hateable in the first book.
Yeah. I part of me kind of hoped it was him.
Because I really enjoyed her killing him. Like, I know she toyed with him a lot, and it was, a little graphic, and it was good.
Oh, it was satisfying. It was so satisfying.
I'm gonna pin you to the ground here.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really enjoyed that.
You know what? I'm not much for that kind of stuff, but yeah, that was delightful. I quite enjoyed that.
Okay, so the next big scene and big death is Baba Yellowlegs. I know you said earlier, you mentioned her.
Yes.
How do you feel about that one?
You know, I want to know more about that. I want to know
about the
more
witches.
Yeah. Oh, please tell me this more about
all about them.
Because I felt like somebody showed me this cheesecake and was just like, here's a little taste, and then they took it away. And I'm like,
trust me, you will definitely learn more about them. And actually what's weird is whenever characters come in and you're starting to learn more about them, a lot of people don't like it. Like, I've heard people online and they're like, oh, can I just skip these chapters? And I'm like, what? And honestly, it wasn't my favorite in the beginning. And then it turns into like one of my absolute favorite storylines. Like, it is so cool. I cannot wait. If you're already intrigued by it, like, I cannot wait for you to learn more, because it is my favorite storyline.
I don't know. The first time I read it, I didn't really hit me. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's great, let's move on now. But this time I'm like, ooh, I have questions. I need to know more now. Like,
I didn't realize how much Baba Yellowlegs told her about, history, and even with regards to like the word keys and everything. Because reading it the first time through, you're just like, oh, okay, cool. But like this time through, we learned that the witches are mixed with Fae or Valg, and the Kraken witches are mixed with Fae, and the Iron Teeth or Blue Blood witches are mixed with Valg. And I didn't remember from the first time through, so that was super interesting. Yeah,
it really was, because I don't know, like, I was like, I want to know more. And then when she died, I'm like, damn it, that was my source of information.
So that killing to me was very different. So earlier, whenever I was talking about Celaena killing the king's targets and how she has this moral compass that she doesn't want to kill people who don't deserve it, that went out the window with Baba Yellowlegs. I think that was different for her completely. Instead of, like, yes, in a way, she's doing it to protect Dorian and his secrets, but it still was kind of an undeserved kill. Like, it wasn't, I don't know.
I don't know, like, maybe I read that wrong, but I kind of felt like she was in danger. I felt like Selena was in danger. And I thought
the only reason she was in danger is because Baba Yellowlegs was able to pick up from her that she was planning on killing her. And I think
Oh,
the reason
okay.
she was planning on killing her is because she was so willing to oust Dorian's secrets. Like, oh, the prince came by here. Oh, this and that. And Celaena knew that he had. She knew he had magic by this point, right?
I don't
I
think
think
she
so.
did, but oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
But I
Ooh.
think she was doing it to protect Dorian's secrets because she even made a comment like he's my, or in her mind, I don't know if it was inner dialogue or not, where Dorian is my only friend. I know the
Yeah.
Baba Yellowlegs chapters are chapters, I think 40 and 41, if you're looking for it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am. Now I need to know. Like, when did we
Yeah,
find out?
40 is the chapter where Baba tells her all of the information and then knocks her out. And then 41 is the chapter where she actually kills Baba.
So you think the only reason she was in danger was because she could feel Selena's
I,
intent to kill her? I wondered if she knew that she was Fae, and I kind of got the feeling that she knew that, and she knew she was a danger, and she was going to take her, and I think they fed off of each other. Because I kind of felt like Selena made the right call here, and now I'm wondering if I'm
really?
wrong.
I'll have to go
Yeah.
back and reread it because
Yeah.
I don't know. But I did know that Selena killed her to protect Dorian's secrets. But also she's now earned the title Witch Killer, which is pretty cool.
Let's not put a target on her back now.
It has. I mean, she killed Baba Yellowlegs, who they said was like a queen amongst her people, and she's, over 500 years old. So she is
So I'm
not
like,
gonna
she's
go missing, unnoticed.
yeah. I was like, ooh, because after she did that, I'm like, ooh, you in trouble now. Like, you think that's gonna go unnoticed? Was it
Uh,
Mort that said she smelt like it? Like she'd
as
killed.
soon as soon as she walked in, Mort was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you're a witch
yeah,
killer."
yeah. So it's that's not going to stay hidden. Not gonna
No,
stay
it's
hidden.
not. And they made, references to that like a handful of times. And even at the
Yeah,
end of the book, the king is like, "Oh, I wonder," which was so weird that he was able to. He said he felt a portal be opened the night before.
yeah.
So that was, and then he also said, "I wonder if it's the same person that killed Baba Yellowlegs." Oh, she went missing. There's no way her wagon, whatever, was trashed. So he's also aware that someone killed her and
So
Mort, and there's no secrets in these books. So
no, no, not nothing is going to stay hidden. That's for sure. But you mentioned last episode whether or not we thought Dorian was really the king's, and now I'm convinced they are related. That's his dad.
oh,
Like,
you are. What makes you think that?
yeah, I did because of like the whole thing with the magic,
Mm-hmm.
and like there was a part in the book where I'm like, yeah, that is his dad.
Mm-hmm.
That is his
Yeah,
dad. Like,
I'm just
I
trying
wasn't.
to go back. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, I was like when we read the first book, and I'm like, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess that does make
Mm-hmm.
sense. Now I'm like, I think he is. I think he is.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that there is something about Dorian that the king knows they don't like. Like maybe he's more powerful and he doesn't like that. Maybe he knows he can take. Maybe there's been a prophecy at some point stating that your eldest son's going to take your crown and he's going to be the reason you're dead. Like, I don't know. I had a lot of things pop into my head. There was no like proof, but I just kind of felt like he knows something about Dorian that we don't know yet. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, yeah. It's I've never done this before with a book, and I have a pad, and I was just like scribbling furiously. My husband's like, I can't read any of that. That doesn't make.
Same.
What does
I
that
have
say?
trouble reading it whenever I go back. I've been
I'm
reading
like,
it
I
and
don't
like
know.
highlight the important stuff because I write a bunch of extra stuff that I don't really need.
Yeah, like I had to type all my notes up, and I'm like, I'm not sure what I was trying to say there.
It's okay. Obviously, wasn't that important.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I was furious. I was like, oh my god! And I put on an arrow, must ask Hannah, and then I can't read it, so I don't know what I was going to ask you. Like, oh, crap. Must slow writing down might be a good one to write.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else about Baba? Do you want to talk about word keys, word gates, any of that, or do you want to save that for later when we get more information?
Yeah, I want to know more. Like, I haven't really put my thoughts together so much on that. She really excited me to get further into the books, and I was really hoping we'd see more of them because it feels like a linchpin to something else. I don't know what it is yet. And I'm like, this is important, but I don't know why. Like,
Well, we do know that there are 3 word keys, and that all 3 of them together can open a word gate.
yeah,
And that the poem that is down in the tomb that she got is a poem it's basically a map of the locations for each of the word keys. And we also learn via Mort, and whenever she tries to go into Elena's crown and get the little jewel, and there's nothing there, that the king got the first word key whenever he was 20.
Yeah.
So we know for sure that the king has one.
At least
He
one.
might have more than one. Yeah.
Yeah. So she now has to go and see if she can get the last two, potentially like one, before he does, and that's going to be one heck
But
of a journey.
it even made a comment that in it that Maeve had them at one point in time, and she couldn't figure out how to put them back in the gate, so she ended up sending them with Brandon across the sea to hide them. So, I mean, also, what are they going to do with them once she finds them, or once the king has them? You know, like we'll see.
I'm hoping destroy. I think this. I don't know much about what this gate is yet, but I don't want it open.
It's not good.
It's not good. It can't be good. Otherwise, it would just be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what, and it made you wonder why he wants it open. Why does he think he can control what's ever behind there? And that's fucking terrifying. I know you know, but now I'm like, I know he has a big army. She even mentions that he's like 1 million strong. Like, there's no one that can stand in his way. So why does he need this so bad?
Yeah.
Don't tell me, but why?
I'm not gonna tell you. You will learn for sure. Let's see. So it does mention also in the end of the book that he's got a big army and that he's going to tell his commander, I can't remember his name, Narok maybe. He's going to tell him to gather his forces. And he said that let's see, I wrote it down. That he's been breeding new mounts. He's been breeding wyverns and they need riders. Did you catch that?
I didn't.
Oh.
Hang on, did I?
It's at the very end of the book. It's just a little random thought. Whenever he was talking about someone had opened the portal and that he thought it was a good idea that Celaena go to Wendlin and, take care of assassinate the king and whatever.
Yeah.
And that he was going to tell his commander or whatever his title is, to ready his forces. And he mentioned that he's been breeding wyverns. They need riders. And I was going to ask you, because there is the recurring thing still of the headaches and all of that, but there's also the recurring of people hearing wings flapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because we talked about the fact that, was it the opium that was giving her the headaches, or was it helping? Obviously, she's not getting that in prison, so clearly it wasn't that. Mm-hmm. But does that mean magic's awakening again? Like, I don't know. Like, I did
mention Calaena is a Rompier, and so it also mentioned that the Rompier and Roland's bloodline have had magic.
Yeah.
So,
like, because that made me wonder if maybe the king does not have as much control over it as he'd like, or maybe it's because he's getting closer to opening that gate that he can't contain it. Like, I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of question marks and just one words. And then when I came to type everything out, I'm like, I'm not entirely sure why I wrote that. That's the problem with me.
That's a good guess, too, though, because she did say that magic is across the portal. So if he is getting closer, maybe it could be seeping through. That'd be... One question, though, I had for you, and also for me, because I guess I don't remember, or maybe it didn't fully answer, I don't know, is it mentioned a few times that Nehemia also is hearing the wings. So that was something where I was like, oh, I guess I didn't really notice that last time. And I was wondering if maybe it's because she is able to, speak to the people in between the portals.
Yeah, maybe she has some form of magic, but was she aware of that?
I don't know.
Like, I had a lot of questions about her, and I'm hoping some of them get answered in the future, because I feel like she knew a lot of things she shouldn't know. And obviously you have to keep it quiet because it's punishable by death, but what did she have access to? What did she know? Like, it was really frustrating, because I've got so many questions, and I don't want to ask them because I don't want to know yet, because I'm hoping they get answered at the right time.
Right. And I think she's pretty good at tying up the loose ends. I feel like we'll get it all right. Honestly, I don't remember 100% of everything. I remember like the gist of it. It's been a long time since I've read these books.
Because she's talking to Elena too, so she's got to have some kind of access to something. Because
and Elena knows everything. So she's been dead.
And she could see the creatures. She could see the creatures in the first book, right? So clearly there's something there. Did she manage to unlock the magic? Huh?
What do you think the wing noises that these people are hearing are?
Do the Fae fly? Like, these are questions because I don't know, right? Like, do they fly?
I want to be able to answer things, but I'm not going to answer things that haven't already been mentioned. So they do say in this book that Faes typically can shift. Some of them are still stuck in their magic form since magic has gone. And it does mention that Selena is able to, hers is shifting from human to Fae.
Yeah.
So she doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have an
Caught that.
animal form, but some of them do shift into animals.
Okay. Because I wondered if maybe there is a fae that is trying to reach the divide and they have wings. Because that's all I could really, that's the only thought I really had, was that maybe they have wings, and whatever it is that's reaching out, trying to push the magic out, is a winged creature, and that's why they can hear the flapping, because it's trying to get free. Like, I don't know. I'm really curious to know. But I'm not one of those people that Googles it. Like, even when I have questions, I
don't do
still
that.
won't, because I'm
Don't do
hoping
that.
she answers. No, I know that we're reading Assassin's Blade next, but I really need to
Yeah.
know. Really, I
Well,
cannot
it'll
wait to.
take us back in Assassin's Blade, and it was a little bit hard the first go round for me to leave this storyline and
Yeah.
jump back in time, because what, Selena is Aelin. Like, what? Is
I
she gonna
know.
step up into this role and actually like be the lost, or the rightful heir to the throne, or is she gonna continue hiding like she did, or like she has been for the last 10 years?
But you can understand why she did, because obviously she's a royal, and
She would
her
be
parents
targeted.
were murdered for their kingdom. So I understand that, being the age she was, I would probably have hidden too. She's clearly not ready, but she clearly knows she has to, because what else do you do? You can't let all those people die. You can't.
No.
But that would be
And now
absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and now there are all of these rebel forces gathering in her name.
Yep.
So, she'll have some allies if she decides to step up into that role. But
Yeah.
in Assassin's Blade, we will get a lot of backstory and like so many things. I'm catching this read around. It's made comments. So it's like, I think it's 5 little short stories about different times in her life, and they're all very action packed. And it's made comments on almost all of these in this book that I didn't notice the first time through, because I read Assassin's Blade afterwards. So
yeah. I want to solidify that I like Celaena before we move forward. So I'm glad we're doing this one next, because she's so flaky, and then she goes from being a hot ass to overly soft, and I need to form how I feel about her before we carry on.
So
Because I really hate Feyre, and I don't want this to happen again.
No, if you need that, and if you and I are, aligned at all in what we like whenever we read, I fell in love with Selena in Assassin's Blade. So I remember calling my friend and being like, "Oh my gosh, I officially love Selena," because it is her backstory. It makes her it brings her back down to earth and like humanizes her a little bit more, and she's not as hot-headed or reactive or enslaved, and like all of the, like, not in the same way, but you get to see a different side of her, and it's.
I think I need that. I think I need that, because I keep flip-flopping. Like, one minute I love her, the next minute I'm annoyed. Like, I need to love her. I need to understand why she's like this now, and she wasn't like that. So this is probably the perfect book to go next for me.
Well, I'm curious to see if that happens for you, and if it does, where in the book it happens. So we'll see.
I will make note of that. Okay. I will make note of when she becomes it for me.
Okay. And if she does, I hope she does. We'll see. Because you're going to need to love her.
I think because you've said it, it's probably going to happen that way, because I think you understand how I'm feeling about her right now. Like,
I felt the same way in the first read through. I thought she was impulsive and hot-headed, and I'm like, I wanted to shake her a few times. So
yeah, because I'm realizing now that I think I didn't read book 3. I think I started it, and I don't think I finished it, because this is what I remember. Like, this is the last thing I really remember from when I started it. So I'm like, did I read any of book 3? Like, now I'm like,
honestly, Assassin's Blade, I don't know what number we're calling that, but technically, I guess book 3 would be Heir of Fire. And the beginning of Heir of Fire isn't super memorable. It's fine.
Okay, but yeah, I'm wondering if maybe I shelved it. Because I'm like, I thought I finished it, and now I'm like, I couldn't tell you anything that happens in that book.
Good. Let's experience it again.
I felt like I kind of did on this one, because there was things I did remember as I was reading it. I'm like, yes, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. And then there were things I'm like,
you messaged me and you were like, I keep seeing the name Aelin. Who's Aelin? And I'm like, I thought you read this.
Well, I thought I had too, and then I didn't realize I didn't realize that we found that out so soon. And I'm like,
well, I'm
like,
happy.
Did you mention his name? I'm like, who is she? But now I get it. That's what I mean. But it wasn't, when I read it the first time, I just read it to, have something to read. I wasn't reading it.
Yeah. Aelin is a badass. She's awesome. So
I'm wondering if now she's going to change, like, the persona of her is going to change now she's using her real name. Does she move on to her real name?
at some point,
Because I didn't know if that was going to, they were still going to be calling her Celaena. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen in the next installment. And because we are going backwards in time, obviously they're going to use the name
well,
Alyn.
Selena,
Aelin,
well,
right?
she has been Selena for a longer period of time than she was ever Aelin.
Right.
So not only has she been named Selena, but she is wearing that mask of the assassin under that name.
Yeah.
You know, even though as a princess, apparently she was still pretty haughty. I don't know if you caught it, made a note or it made a comment. You may not have caught it because you didn't know who Aelin was, but it made a comment in the book that Dorian had met Aelin at one point whenever he was younger.
I saw that, and she got somebody to like she got upset about something.
Yeah, she sicked her cousin on him because he spilled tea on her dress on accident.
Yeah. She was,
And you'll actually meet her cousin later too, so you'll get to know who that was later in the books.
The other question I had was because I feel like the love triangle is over now, and I don't know if I'm right in thinking that. I don't, now that I think that we've seen her like the step into that she's a fae. I kind of get the feeling that these two are over now. Like that's I know that we said that Kale, like, would she forgive him and go back? That we don't think that she would, but I don't feel like either of them are at her end game now.
Well, but she also
right?
said to him on the docks whenever he was saying bye, and she told him everything, like word gates, Elaine, all of that, and gave him the amulet. She even told him, she whispered the date, and she said, when you figure it out, it doesn't matter. I'd still pick you. I'll always pick you. And that's when Kale said, I love you.
I know, but I get the feeling she doesn't end up with him. I do. I don't know. I don't know. It's, for me, the dynamic has changed now, and I don't see how it's going to work out.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything. She is going to Wendlin, so the next, book takes place there, mostly. I don't remember. I'm sure it probably flashes back and you get different POVs as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know when she starts, because in this book she's writing, and it's including everybody's perspectives. But at some point, I don't remember which book, she starts writing and the chapters are actually a chapter about that person, like just straight from that person. So maybe it is in Heir of Fire because they are split locations. That might be it. Let me actually cut me out standing up right here if you want. Let me see.
I'm interested.
Now I'm curious. Now I want to see. At least I think so. It's been so long since I've read them. Hold on. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's... Okay, so it doesn't. It doesn't have the chapter for each person. It's just about that person.
Okay.
So she starts off the chapter like saying the person's name, but it's not titled them like I was thinking it was.
Okay. Ooh, very interested.
I'm super excited. Okay, random other things that caught my attention was Rena Goldsmith, the singer who came and was executed. That was kind of sad.
Heartbreaking. I tears streaming down my face, like just silent tears. Like that was, I don't know. I felt, part of me wondered if it was almost like a spell. Like she was naming all the people that had been murdered in her family, and then she sang and she was killed. And I felt like that was almost like she was casting that out there as like almost comic. Like, I don't know. It was really tragic.
And it's because I noticed that I think it was just like an FU to the king. Like that was her final act of rebellion. She knew she was going to die. And I don't know if you noticed, but like Terrason's colors it mentioned are green and gold. And it mentioned that she not only dedicated it to the royal family, which in my opinion is not Otterlin. I think she's dedicating it to, the rightful Terrason royal family because she was wearing a green dress and her harp was green and gold.
Yeah.
So I noticed that a little bit. I don't know. I think it was just an act of rebellion. Like she's going out, doing something she's not supposed to do, and like throwing out the names of her loved ones. It was sad though.
It was really sad. It was really sad. And you could really feel how it made Selena feel as well. Like it was powerful. It was a really powerful moment in the book.
Not only her, but also Chaol. I think they were both like crying.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of a hard ass.
And also it made me wonder, so she dedicated it to the royal family, and she was talking about, singing about an old fae woman who had all this power, and people wanted to use her for this and that. And like, it also made me wonder, is that just a song slash a known, you know, not legend isn't the word, a tale that they know amongst the Fae, or maybe was it someone that Celaena knew?
Yeah, I don't
So
know. That was a
I
really
a
good
little bit
question.
harder
I
because of
thought
that.
maybe it was just an ode. Like I thought maybe it was just a bard, but now
Yeah,
you've said that. Now I'm curious.
it could have been someone
It's,
from her family line. If she's dedicating
yeah,
it to the family of Terrasen, like it could have been her great grandmother, who,
yeah.
which is wild that we learned that one of the, uh, not Fae, yeah, one of the Fae queens, the Mab Maven, who's the other one? Mab Maven Mora, and one of them is her great grandmother,
Yeah,
which
that's
is really
crazy.
cool.
That is cool. I've got so many questions, and Sarah J. Maas is very good at tying up all questions I normally have. So I'm fairly
She will.
certain that I'm not going to be left wanting by the end of the series.
I don't remember wanting anything. I remember there is one random, I told you one random,
Yeah,
like not necessarily a loose end, but just one thing that just kind of like falls off. And I
yeah,
didn't notice it in reading it, but like, you know, and spiraling afterwards and going in deep, you know, into the fandom and all of that. People are like, what happened to this? And she's like,
yeah.
oh. So that's funny. I'm curious to see if you catch it. But another random thing, and I don't think it means anything, but you know, it's very prominent that it's only with the eye that one can see rightly. Do you think that that's the Eye of Elena? Do you think that's the amulet, or do you think that that's referencing something else?
Thought it was the amulet because I didn't catch anything else. But knowing Sarah J. Maas, that could be something else. Like it's
So
a
there was
really hard one. It didn't make me think it wasn't the Eye of Elena. It didn't
there
make
was
me
one,
think.
and I don't think this is it, but there was one thing that I caught this go round where Nehemia was at the ball with Dorian, and she
Right.
told him, hold on, let me find it. I don't know where it is, but she told him basically she was like, you have more power than you know. Um, whenever you're ready, I'm here for you. Essentially telling him that he has magic, I guess she knew. And he said with those words, something inside of him opened an eye. And I was like, ooh, eye. And part of me was like, so is it maybe referencing like accepting your magic and like
Maybe.
merging those two and aligning yourself and coming into your own, I guess. So that was another random thing that I was thinking. But I think that was just like a random word she used, as in like his magic is alive, as
Yeah.
opposed to, I don't know.
It's funny you've said that because Nehemia, did she know she was going to kill herself at that point? Because Dorian hadn't
Let me
come
see if
into
I
his
can
matchless. Why
find.
would you say something like that if you weren't
Yeah.
planning on being around for it? Because that's what I
So
mean when I ask the question, like, did she really plan her death, or like it seemed
so
like
the ball
because that's
chapter where she said that to Dorian was chapter 17, and then the chapter that we see between her and Elena was 25. So I'm sure they had been in talks about it. So she probably did know, but we as a reader weren't informed that she knew until, you know, 8
yeah.
chapters later.
Just I wonder. I just now that you've said that, I'm like, why would you tell somebody like I know what's going on with you when you figure it out?
Mhm.
Come talk to me for her not to be there to
And
talk
then
to.
not be there,
Yeah,
right?
what the heck? Which is one of the reasons why I wondered if maybe she didn't know it was going to happen, or maybe she didn't know when it was going to happen,
Well,
or maybe she thought
so
that he already did know that his magic was there. Like I have
but
no, there's
also she
question.
didn't kill herself. So like how is she going to know when it happens though? She
True, that,
was
yeah,
it was by Archer, and she had been working with him, and she did, maybe it said in there that she was murdered a week after she left the rebel movement. So maybe her leaving the rebel movement was like the catalyst that she knew was going to cause it.
or maybe she changed her mind. Maybe she
Well,
decided she didn't want to die.
she did, maybe, and she did comment though that she, whenever she left, that she didn't want to trade one power hungry king for the dozen of the rebels who are now searching for the word keys.
Right. That's what. Yeah, I guess that was one of the reasons why when Archer said it, I wasn't sure it was true. Like now
Yeah,
you kind of convinced me, and now I'm still kind of on like,
yeah.
had she changed her mind? Maybe she thought that she could convince Selena. Like I don't know. God, you've given me more questions.
I
God,
know, I know. So do
I
you
still
think
love
that,
you.
speaking of Archer, do you think that his relationship with Selena was at any point in time genuine, or do you think she was just a means to an end for him?
I didn't much care for Archer, so I kind of feel like I think he had fond memories of her when she was younger. Like he knew who
Hmm.
she was, and maybe he could still connect to that a little bit. But I really truly felt that he was using her. I
Yeah,
don't. This was about his
because
end game. He didn't care, and he did what he had to do, what he thought he had
hmm
to do to get her on his side because he knew that he couldn't just tell her the truth because what he was doing was lousy. So
Yeah.
I don't think he really cared about her, and I think if it came down to killing her over getting what he wanted, he would have killed her.
Yeah, and it also mentioned in there too that Arobin had told Archer who she was.
Yeah.
So he
So he
knew that she, I'm assuming, was Aelin.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I picked up on that as well. So you knew that he knew who she was, and that he was using her. I think otherwise, why wouldn't you go as a friend and explain it? 'Cause obviously, him and Nehemia had at some point been a team. So why couldn't it have been introduced that way? Why all the games? Like, I really truly believe that he was all for the self-servingness of Archer.
Yeah, he's a narcissist. Like, he's all about him. He thinks he's good. Yeah.
Raging. Yeah, you nail on the head.
The last question I have, because I thought it was a super powerful scene. How did you feel about Chaol finding out that she is Aelin? That little last chapter of the book.
Honestly, I kind of felt like he wasn't surprised because he firstly knew that her family name didn't come up. So he knew that she wasn't, he knew that she wasn't who she said she was. He knew where she was from. I think he already knew. I think that there's part of him that always knew. And there's just
he's been searching for who she is ever since he heard her singing the song in a different language.
Exactly. So he'd already had an inkling, and he was already looking into it. So I really don't think he was surprised. I really think that it didn't matter to him anyway.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him piecing it together about how he was like, okay, there's this. Oh, Aelin disappeared in the river. Her body was never found. Wait a second. Selena told me that Arobin found her by a river. Oh my gosh. Like, I liked him piecing those little things together to get to the conclusion.
Yeah, I don't know, it solidified who Kale was in my head, because rather than outright saying, hey, none of this shit makes sense, who the fuck are you? He went and did his research, and it didn't change anything for him. Yeah. And I'm still going to be on his team. I kind of feel like she's not going to end up with either of them, but...
Yeah, so it is... Kale said he's not going to tell anybody that she's Fae.
No, and I believe that. I believe that he's going to he'll take that to the grave. He will.
So how do you think that he's going to feel about Dorian's magic? Because he did see that he had magic because Selena had Dorian close the portal because she was drained.
Yeah, I do. I honestly... What can he say? Because... Dorian didn't know up until very recently, so it's not like he was hiding it his whole life.
And it's not like he chose to have magic. Like, why are you gonna not like someone or whatever, treat someone differently for something that's out of their control? Whenever you've been best
and I don't think that that's Kale at all. I think he is very. You are who you are to me. It doesn't matter what the schematics don't matter. I know who you are. So I don't think that I personally don't think anything's going to change between them. But I guess we'll see. I know Dorian's really upset about him sending Celaena off. Like he can't quite understand that, and I think there's already a slight rift in their friendship. But I don't think it's anything to do with the magic.
Well, also Chaol told his father he was going to go to Aniel with him, and so he was a dick to Dorian, and he was like, well, I need him to not like me. That way he lets me go to Aniel.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So do you think that he also made a comment, Kale made a comment of, well, I didn't tell him when I was going to go. So do you think that he's going to go soon, or do you think he's going to try to hold out? And if so, how do you think that that's going to affect his and Dorian's friendship?
I don't think he really wants to go, so I think he's going to hold off as long as it's humanly possible. You can tell by the way he talked about it. This is not something he really wants to do, but he needed it to do what he felt was right.
He needed a bargaining chip.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's gonna change the dynamic, because now he's not gonna be just someone to protect Dorian. Now he's gonna have his own title. He's gonna come up in the rankings. I don't think it's gonna affect their friendship per se, but it will definitely change the dynamic of how they react to each other, how they communicate with each other going forward. But I don't want him to not be the King's Guard.
I know. Who would even step up and replace him?
There isn't it. Who would he trust? Who would Dorian trust at that point? Because he's always had...
Who would the king trust? Because
I don't trust the king, and I don't think Dorian trusts the king. So who would it be?
What do you think the king's motives are? Do you think that he's acting out of fear or ambition or just something else?
World domination. Yeah. He wants to be ruler of the whole... however far it goes, like that's the realm. He wants to have it all, and he's not willing to accept anything less than that. And he doesn't care who he has to kill or maim or tread on to get there. I don't know. He disgusts me. I do not like him at all.
Yeah, she writes his character really well.
Oh yeah, I hate him. I hate him with the passion of 1,000 suns. And every time he opens his mouth, I want to smack it shut. Just like,
He wasn't very present in this book at all. He was barely in this book.
exactly. I know, but you could feel his presence. Like, I don't know about you, but I could feel like he was just kind of here being
Feel
a shit.
the evil lurking behind me.
Yeah, he was right there, and it felt that way. Like every decision, every situation, somehow he was doing this, and you could feel that. Like I know that he doesn't know all of the stuff that's happening, all the stuff that's against him, but he obviously understands something's going on. He was just in the wrong spot for it, because he was killing the wrong people, right? People that weren't really involved in it. So I simply call Archer. So I don't know. I don't like him. I don't like him at all.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited for this journey. Seriously, I told you the first 2 books are like a prologue to the real series. So
I don't know. I liked this one. I did. I feel like if this had been book 1, I probably would already have jumped ahead. Like me and you would not be doing this together anymore. I would have already been on book 7. Like, I think that's kind of where I'm at. But I think it eased me in gently enough that now I have questions that I need to do this right.
Yeah, it was really hard. I finished like 3 days ago, and it's been so hard for me not to pick up the next book, especially because all the other books I'm reading right now they're just like not holding my interest.
Yeah, this has been my problem too. I picked up a Lisa Jackson book. I had an art copy of her latest one, and I'm like, and I just was like, nah, I'll come back to that. But no, this one really has. This did it for me. Now my little fantasy heart is thrumming.
Good. I'm so glad. They only get better. The first 2 books are, I think I gave Throne of Glass like 3.5 stars and Crown of Midnight 4 stars, and then they just jump up to like 5 shortly after this. Like they're so good.
Nail on the head. That's exactly what I've only done star rating so far. I thought for our social medias that I might review them because I've never actually reviewed either book. I just gave them star ratings, so I think I'm going to do that and post them on my page. Because this book was brilliant. And I can't wait to watch how much better they get. I can't.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. The excitement and heartbreak.
My daughter, Caitlin, she reads mostly fan fiction because she's a weirdo. But even she was like, when you're done, can I borrow them? And I'm like, but you're moving out. I don't want my books out of the house. And she was like, I'll bring them back. I'm like, you have my House of Leaves book for 2.5 years and you read 2 pages. I'll think so. Like, you have to come visit and then you can read.
It's so hard when people read at a very slow pace. I've got a few of my books lent out right now, and I'm like, can I get them back, please?
Hurry up, man. Like, the library gives you a specific amount of time.
Yeah.
Come on, top.
I should start doing 3 weeks. That's more than enough.
That's what you should do. You should put a little Hanna card in here that says, given out on, blah, 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 return by, or I'm going to start following you.
Right. Make the money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's $1 a day until I get my book back.
Absolutely. For the first month. And then it goes up. Month 2 is $2 a day. Month 3 is $3. We're just going to keep increasing.
That's right.
And you also owe me a new book.
Yeah, that right there. That's perfect.
That's brilliant.
And then they bring it back within 3 weeks, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah. I'm fully amenable to this plan. Fully amenable.
I have to make up a contract and have people sign it whenever they borrow my stuff. I'm like, yeah, sign here on the dotted line.
Sign a contract to state that you will bring my book back in pristine condition on this date.
Absolutely.
Blood oath.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love it. No, you pretty much covered everything I had in there, except the one thing I did want to mention, because no one ever like, some people mention these things, but like, I love the maps.
Oh,
I love the maps. The detail in the maps. Like, I
didn't actually look at it this time through. Wait a second. Where's my map? Oh, there it is.
I was like, yeah, you have to flick a bit further. I'm like, the maps are absolutely stunning. The detail. You can see where everything is. And this time around, I actually spent time, like, looking. Because when they're talking about places, now I can visualize on the map where they were. And that was very quite helpful. So I'm like, I can see what's going to come up.
Yeah, I always go to the maps whenever they're traveling is always when I'm like, oh, they're traveling along this, I'll do that.
Yeah, but I was like, the maps are absolutely stunning, and I didn't appreciate maps in books until now. Now I get it. Now I'm like, ooh, I'm like, I wonder what Hanna feels about maps. That was the only thing you didn't cover, because that was the first thing I wrote. I was like, how cool is that?
Yeah, I utilize the map much more whenever they're traveling. So now that she is going somewhere else, you can kind of look and see where it is on there. And then
Yeah.
later in the books, they'll be traveling all around the continent. So
All the books have maps. Do every single one of these have maps? Because
Yeah,
I'm
they
wondering
do.
if I can. I'm wondering. This is how dorky I am. Now I'm like, I wonder
Get
if
it
I
out.
can get a poster of this. Like,
Yeah,
I wonder if I could get a big
that would
poster.
be awesome. Get a poster and laminate it so you can get like a dry erase marker and draw
Yeah,
their paths as they're
yeah,
traveling.
and draw the paths and where like the armies are. Where's this? Yeah,
Yes.
I've gone full blown
I'll post it
doorstep.
up on the wall and get a little pointer stick and I'll be like, and we're here now.
Yeah, see, you are the same as me. Love it. I love it. I'm so excited to be doing this with you. I feel like I'm getting a ton more out of it this way, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm hoping that the people watching, maybe they're reading along with us. Like, that would be amazing if they're reading the
That would
book
be
at the same time we are, and they're kind of seeing what we're talking about and catching things maybe they missed.
Yeah, or maybe they've read the books and we're going to encourage them and inspire them to do a reread.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like buddy reading it's better because every time I was like, because I was texting you, I'm like, what? Ah! Like,
Yeah.
and I tried because I didn't know if I was further ahead of you in the book, and I'm realizing
It doesn't matter. I've already read them, so don't even worry about that.
I'm like, I don't want to spoil something
were
that
a
maybe
little bit.
yeah, but I was
No,
like,
you were a little bit ahead of me whenever you were like, Dorian has. I was like, I'm not there yet, but yes, you're there. I'm so glad. It didn't make me upset because I have read them. So
I'm like,
go ahead. I want the live action emotion and response.
it's like I don't know why you're screaming. Like,
I
I
was
was
like, tell me better get used to it because these books are mild compared to where it goes.
well, because I'm like, I want to talk, right? And he's like, I don't know what's going on, Stacey. Like, and I'm like, I need someone to talk to. Who? I'm like, oh, Hannah, where's my phone?
Yeah, please do. I love it. You need someone to vent to and to like explode your amazement or whatever you're feeling at that moment too. And go ahead, bring it on. I made my husband read it right afterwards, and I was like waiting for him to talk to me about it, but he's pretty low key with his responses to books and stuff.
Yeah.
He's low. So I'm like, what'd you think about it? And I'll get little short answers. I'm like, talk to me more. I need it. So buddy reading is so much more fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this is so much fun. I'm really hoping that we're inspiring people to either read the series or go and see what we're talking about in the book. Because when I rewatched the episode from last week, I went back and looked at things you had mentioned that I had missed. And so that gave me more. Like, I felt more connected. And I'm hoping they're going to ask us questions too, because I'd love to get audience questions.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And I'm going to try to, like in this one, this go around, I wrote down like chapter numbers and stuff to make it a little bit easier for like if you do want to go back and check some stuff out. So I'll try to include stuff like that where I find like random Easter eggs. I'll try to include
I wished I had done that this time around because I was so excited. I was just randomly writing stuff down on my pad. But I wished I had put chapter numbers. I couldn't tab. I tried to tab and I couldn't stick them in there
either. So what I do is I'll do like the chapter number here. Can you see? I'll do like the chapter number here and I'll write summary / important things. And I just write my notes and then I go back through and I have like the blue was about magic and Dorian's magic and I went and I highlighted all those things. The purple were like the recurring themes.
You're right on the lines. I was writing like notes and
like a crazy person.
Yeah. It was like a flow shot of Stacey's craziness. Like, it didn't make sense by the time it was done.
This is just as I'm reading the book, I'll write that, and then I go through and I kind of create more notes / points that I want to talk about or whatever.
Yeah, I think I need to get a bigger journal because my other one's really small and I can't be typing and reading at the same time. It doesn't work for me. So I think I need a bigger journal. So I think I'm going to go to the dollar store.
Yeah, I very much have to pause what I'm doing and write and then go back. Yeah. So it takes me a lot longer, but it's okay.
I wished I could tab because I have these sticky notes that you put in here and they're like see-through and then you can write on them instead.
I have those too.
Yeah, but I can't. The idea of the glue touching the page just gave me the shudders and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
So I think in doing this the way that I'm doing it, it might set my brain up or prime it to be able to annotate one day. Because now I'm like, okay, I'll use a blue marker for Dorian's magic. I'll use a green marker for quotes I like. And so that's kind of teaching my brain how to split off and categorize the different things. Yeah. So maybe if I do decide to annotate one day, I'll be like, oh, this tab is for this. This is for this.
Yeah.
So,
I want to, but I can't. And I bought this really nice kit, and it's all just sitting in the bag. And I'm just like, I bought them out, and I went to, and I'm like, oh, I can't. I started to shake. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
what about the glue? The glue.
Well, I even mentioned, I was like, well, maybe I will annotate these books because I bought this set. It's not even like a super nice set, and it's even got misprints. I was like, well, maybe I'll use and I'll highlight and I'll mark these books up, and that'll be incentive or permission to buy myself the nice hardback copies.
I want to do that anyway. I kind of feel like I want a display set, but I was not willing to spend the money on books I was going to read. So
Yeah.
I should be able to do this because this is like my review copy, but it's so hard. I see people annotate and they're like, "Ooh, I love doing this. This is so fun," and I'm like, "Whoa, like, you're hurting me."
I think I'll stick to my journal and I'll label the top which title of which book it is so I can flip through and find it if I can read my notes.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're just like me. It's really hard to get over something that you've been predispositioned to hate. But it would make talking about it so much easier, but I couldn't do it. I really, I was just like, what's wrong with you? Just stick it in. Like, and I'm like, don't you touch it. Don't you touch. He's like, okay, crikey. I'm a nightmare.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, well, no. I'm just stuck in my ways. I'm old, I'm stuck in my ways. It's just how it is now.
That's okay. I appreciate that, and I think the book does too.
I don't know, it doesn't sit flat now.
That's okay. That just means it's well loved.
Like, trying to get it to sit flat. My daughter's like, oh, it looks a little bendy. I'm like, shh.
Whenever you try to shove it back in the box, it'll be fine.
I don't know if it's going to go back in. It's not as bad as the other one, mind you, so maybe it will. Thank you for joining us in this episode of our deep dive of Crown of Midnight. I really enjoyed it. I know that Hannah really enjoyed it too. You can find us on our social medias, and I promise to get Hannah's name right this time. So you can find Hannah on Instagram at the Toppling TBR _ Hanna, HANNA, no H on the end. And you can find me on Instagram, the Toppling TBR _ Stacey, that's with an EY. We have a YouTube channel if that's not where you're watching us right now, which is youtube.com / at the Toppling TBR. You can find us on Spotify as well, and anywhere else that you can find a podcast, because I've been uploading it everywhere. But thank you for joining us, and we hope that you have enjoyed this episode. This is the Toppling TBR.
Oh, I was about to say, join us next week. We will be diving into the Assassin's Blade. So,
yes, you know what? I'm really excited. We hope you have a great reading week, guys.